Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on why most people who work real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand are fearful of escaping wage slavery. So why are they reticent about escaping wage slavery? Why are they recalcitrant about pivoting their way out of the employee workforce? Well, the crux of the issue is that if they quit working their dead-end, highly time-consuming, debilitating, dispiriting, unfulfilling, undesirable, harrowing, distressful, brutally wretched job, they'll have no source of income, and they need income perpetually coming in order to be able to at least make the minimum payments on their bills. So they cannot afford to even go for a brief period of time without income. When you're an entrepreneur, you're not guaranteed a penny. Your income is enigmatic, and in spite of how hard you work, you may not generate a single sale. You may not generate a single view. You're not guaranteed any results by your target market. Even if your content is stellar, worthwhile, meritorious, and worthy of being consumed. People are fearful of escaping wage slavery because they do not know how they will generate revenue if they do not work in the capacity of a wage slave. They never tried being a freelancer. They never tried being a gig economy worker. They never tried being an entrepreneur. And it's just easier to follow a monotonous, regimented routine every day or 5 days per week than it is to be an innovative entrepreneur. It's easier to follow the same regimented protocol than it is to be a highly creative entrepreneur. When you embrace strategic risk-taking as an entrepreneur, you're not guaranteed a penny. Your target market will determine your success, and your success is predicated upon whether or not your target market deems your products to be worthy of procuring, and whether or not your target market deems your content to be worthy of consuming. In spite of its merits, it may not translate into you earning a penny, because if it's not properly optimized, if it's not properly marketed, if it's not properly branded, it may not earn any views. And if it's obscure niche content that is unknown to your target market, then don't expect it to build traction and earn a substantial amount of views if people can't discover it. So your content needs to be deemed discoverable, to say the least, and it needs to be properly optimized in the search engines so that not only it can be prompted on the first page in the search engines, but so that it's also recommended by the content recommendation algorithms. And if you have digital products and those are not properly optimized for being discovered, then do not expect to earn any sales. It's as simple as that. You may have the utmost best products in the world, but if people cannot find them and they cannot discover them, then you're not going to be earning any sales on that basis. Because if no one knows that your products exist, then you simply won't earn sales, unfortunately. So people are fearful of escaping wage slavery because they fear the unknown. The future is enigmatic and obscured beyond the veil in time. They do not know about entrepreneurial pursuits. They do not know about growing behemoth brands and creating income-generating assets. They do not know about building recurring revenue streams. They do not know about getting your revenue streams on autopilot. All they know is that they could sell their sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, invaluable time for a pittance of fiat currency at a non-subsistence wage. And they also do not know that as an entrepreneur, your income is uncapped. It's not tethered to your time. Content can be consumed at any time, and products can be procured at any time. When your revenue is transactional, it's not tethered to your time. Billions of people from around the world wanted to simultaneously buy your products. It's possible they're digitally distributed. The billions of people from around the world wanted to consume your content via social media platforms. It's viably possible that they're digitally distributed. So another reason why people are fearful of escaping wage slavery is because they do not trust in themselves. Thoughts of self-doubt pervade the bowels of their mind. They do not believe that they can pursue their higher aspirations. They do not believe that they can reach their overarching goals. These looming thoughts of self-doubt that taint the chasms of their mind are indeed insalubrious, and it causes them to stagnate in life, or even regress, because if they lose their employee job as a wage slave due to getting furloughed or laid off, or their company becoming defunct, then they have no source of income and are more apt to regress rather than just stagnate. You want to be able to move your life in a forward movement trajectory. You do not want to stagnate nor regress, and you should take inroads towards attaining unprecedented, profound success in life. You should not allow yourself to be stymied. So, once again, to recapitulate, people are fearful, they're trepidatious of escaping wage slavery because they do not know about entrepreneurial endeavors. They do not trust in themselves to be successful enough to wean themselves off of an employer. And also they're fearful of having no income in the short term. And they do not even attempt to wean themselves off of an employer by working on a part-time basis and then subsequently pivoting out an employee workforce. Furthermore, most people are reticent about pursuing entrepreneurial pursuits because not only are they not guaranteed a penny, but that's a domain that they're not knowledgeable about. It's much easier to follow a regimented routine on a daily basis than it is to dabble into doing something new. And as an entrepreneur, you can become more competent, more adept, and more knowledgeable over time. So, your knowledge, your repertoire, and your competencies do not have to be finite. Unfortunately, highly time-consuming, debilitating, dispiriting, unfulfilling, undesirable, harrowing, distressful, really wretched minimum wage jobs do not offer even 1/12 of a minimum wage. Not a minimum wage, I meant to say a livable wage. Sorry about the faux pas. They do not pay 1/12 of a livable wage. And a livable wage, if you're to work 2,080 hours per year and work consecutively for 2 decades for at least 41,600 hours, would be a net wage of at least $122 per hour. That's how much you would need to earn in order to maintain a mediocre standard of living for your lifetime, because you would need to be able to invest at least $3,600,000 in the equities market to receive dividend payouts of at least $6,000 per month, or $72,000 per year after 20 years elapsed. If your cost of living to have a mediocre standard of living is $72,000 annually, and if you were to only work for 20 years full-time, then you would need to have at least $3,600,000 invested in the equities market in stocks that offer high dividend yields of at least 2%, so that by the time you retire after 20 years elapsed, you would have $6,000 in dividend payouts every month, which culminates in $72,000 in dividend payouts annually. So if someone's getting paid, if they're grossing around $10 an hour, they're never going to be able to escape wage slavery, and they're going to struggle to make the minimum payments on their bills, and they're going to be submerged further and further in debt. Yes, you may not be guaranteed a penny if you're an entrepreneur, but at least if you're profoundly successful as an entrepreneur, you can put yourself into the muck and mire and escape a life fraught with wage slavery. Whereas if you're highly successful at your job, and if you get promoted to the next tier on the corporate hierarchy, your pay raise is going to be so negligible that it's not going to make a difference in terms of you being able to discharge your debts and significantly increase your standard of living. If you're to work forever in perpetuity and have no chance of retiring, to maintain a mediocre standard of living, you will need to earn at least $34 per hour. But if you wanted to retire after 40 years of working full-time for at least 2,080 hours per year, then you would need to earn a net wage of at least $78 per hour. But if it's 20 years, then it's a net wage of at least $122 per hour. And if it's 60 years of working full-time, then you would need to earn a net wage of at least $64 an hour. And if it's 80 years of working full-time, then you would need to earn a net wage of at least $56 an hour. And the reason why you would need to earn wages substantially higher than $34 per hour after working full-time for decades if you want to be able to retire is so that you can have enough invested in the equities market, meet that $3,600,000 threshold, so that you could afford to have at least $6,000 in dividend payouts every single month, which translates into being $72,000 in dividend payouts annually. And if anything, the cost of living is going to more than likely perpetually amplify, so the more money you can earn, the better. As an entrepreneur, you may not get any money on the front end, or you may get a negligible amount of money on the front end, but hopefully the payoff is on the back end. But yet again, you're not guaranteed a single sale nor a single view, and your target market will determine your success. But in my opinion, as a far more warranted pursuit to potentially have billions of micro employers than you have a single employer. When I say micro employers, I'm insinuating that each member of your target market is essentially your micro employer, meaning they could buy your products, they can consume your content if they choose to. But in spite of how meritorious your content and products are, just bear in mind and allow this to marinate in the chasms of your mind and render this indelible. You're not guaranteed a single sale, and you're not guaranteed a single view. In spite of how efficaciously, in spite of how potently you market your products and your content, you're still not guaranteed to elicit any results. So allocate your marketing dollars wisely and prudently, and do not shirk on neglecting to make inroads towards drawing forth a prosperous, abundant, auspicious future. You want to thrive, prosper, and flourish. You do not want to stagnate, nor regress, nor falter. Human beings are not infallible, but the least they can do is make an earnest, valiant attempt to get ahead in their lives and not allow themselves to falter from reaching their latent potential. You want to actualize your latent potential and become all you can be, and not allow your pent-up potential to remain dormant, unrealized, and unmanifested into reality. So I hope that you found this video to be insightful. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.